Hey everybody, what is going on? HexLex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which means it's time for another one of our weekly viewer specials. For those of you new to the channel or series, first of all, welcome. And second of all, what we do here every week on Monday is showcase games from you all, the viewers. It's a fun way to take a look at decks or strategies I might not always have time to get to, but more than that, just kind of come together and cheer each other on as we show off our cool games. So if you have a duel you want to submit, just head on down to the description below. Among the links there is going to be a link to our Discord server, the HexLexPlex. Once you're in there, head on down to the Master Duel section. There is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. There you can drop your 9-digit player ID, and then I can see your publicly saved replays. If you have a specific one you want me to see, make sure to leave either your opponent's name, the date and time, or a screenshot, something where I know that is the game you want me to watch. But let's not waste any more time, let's get right on into your duels. Okay, first duel comes to us from Yurio, aka 8bots, over on the Discord server, and was one of very many good Radiant Typhoon games submitted. There's a lot of submissions this week. Thank you as always, everybody, turning out a ton of Radiant Typhoon games that were all a joy to watch, because I do watch pretty much every replay that's submitted. But I wanted to share this one here. We're up against Live Twin with the Santa Claus and all the Fiendsmith and all that good stuff. And we, of course, as mentioned, are going to be playing Radiant Typhoon. Oh, I didn't realize, yeah, this is a Purge deck, isn't it? The Fire, Dark, and Water exclusion? I might have to look into that. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Or maybe I did see that in a build and I just forgot. But either way, yeah, let's go ahead and check this out. Yeah, because Purge, very powerful hand trap. All the Dominus cards tend to be pretty solid. Okay, we're going first. Okay, we have the Chant and the Crocea. That's pretty good to fire off here during the draw phase. Although it looks like they are going to use the Ash Blossom against the Crocea, or rather the Chant, as well as a Maxi here as well. That's pretty brutal. So even if we do combo off and summon Crocea, we're still going to give them a draw. Looks like we're still going for it, which I do think is the right call here. We're going to add the Meghala as well as a Mystical Space Typhoon from deck to hand. We're going to normal summon Meghala, set our MSTs, and pass. So now basically, during our opponent's turn, we can potentially use the Meghala in order to summon out, well, not anymore, thanks to the Santa Claus here. I was going to say to summon out like the Phonics or something, but they're going to go Santa Claus, Tribute Meghala, summon a couple of Live Twin monsters, using Sunny Stitch to try to search up another one, but we're going to use MST to go ahead and get rid of that. After that, Kisakeel is going to get linked away for the Kisakeel Deal. Now Kisakeel Deal is going to send away the Leela Sweep, and we're going for our Sheena, the Twin Tempest of Celestial Thunder. A very powerful deck in the Radiant Typhoon, well, or very powerful card, rather, in the Radiant Typhoon deck. Now by bouncing away our opponent's board, we ensure they're not able to combo off. We can go Draw Phase Ascendance to revive the Meghala. That'll special summon the Crocea that we bounced, and now we can add Eldum as well as a Mystical Space Typhoon. Alright, now from here we're going to summon our Eldum. We can activate in order to add the Swen. And looks like we're going to get hit with Droll and Lockbird as well. The biggest nemesis of Radiant Typhoon, but we still have more than enough damage on board to swing in for lethal here with the Swen, Search, and then Summon. All thanks to that Sheena bouncing the board. So I definitely wanted to showcase this Radiant Typhoon game to show that even when you are facing some pretty powerful hand traps like Maxi or Droll and Lockbird, I think one of Radiant Typhoon's biggest strengths is just how flexible the deck is and how many different ways it can play, right? Although the combo lines can look really linear, the resulting boards you set up are very layered in how you choose to disrupt your opponent. And when you add a card like Sheena into the mix, then you have even more options, with Sheena acting not only as a great hand trap, but also a pretty good board breaker as well. This scenario almost uses both in one, honestly, a way to stop the opponent from comboing while still breaking their board, getting it out of the way so we could swing in for lethal, again, even through the Droll and Lockbird. Excellent game. Thank you very much, 8bots. Let's go ahead and move on to the next duel. Okay, our next duel comes to us from Enmu. So Enmu has a game where they are going to be on Art Mage. Looks like we're playing a little bit of a branded engine as well. We got the Albaz here and a copy of Branded Fusion. And then our opponent is going to be on Mitsurugi. But more specifically, there is a question attached to this replay. Enmu is curious about an interaction between Archmage Feinmel, Saji, and Prayer. So we're going to go ahead and watch this replay, find the interaction in question, then read through and analyze exactly what happened here. Alright, so we're going to be taking the first turn. We opened Medius and Theo Realize as well. We're going to begin with the Theo Realize, sending Medius the Pure to the graveyard. Now we can activate the graveyard effect, putting back the Albaz to special summon Medius the Pure. We're going to activate in order to summon the Archmage Power Patron, which will then allow us to fusion summon into the Archmage Diactorus. We can use the Archmage Power Patron effect to add the field spell, the Acropolis, which upon activation will let us discard the trap card, Awakening, for Litera. Archmage Litera can then special summon. We're going to add back that Awakening. We can then use the other field spell effect, or not the other one, but we're going to use the same effect rather. And this time add and then summon the Graflair. So let's set the alteration. Alteration effect is going to add Feinmel. Now we can special summon Feinmel and then get a card draw. Field spell lets us extra normal summon Medius the Pure, which we're now going to link with the Archmage Graflair to go for the Predaplant Vert Anaconda. I imagine this is where the Branded Fusion comes into play. Now we can fuse off Vert Anaconda with the Albaz and get a free Mirror Jade to our end board. We're going to set Imperm and pass. Okay, so got a few disruptions set up here. They're going to lead with Fiendsmith's Tract, adding Fabled Lurie, and then I imagine discarding Fabled Lurie. Now Lurie effect gets to activate, special summon. I'm going to link away for the Requiem. Mirror Jade's going to activate at this point. They're going to chain the Requiem, but it's worth noting that Mirror Jade does not target. So I actually really like this because now they're going to summon the Lacrima and we can banish it, and Lacrima won't get to activate because it was never, like, it didn't remain on the field after the end of the chain link. But that's not the interaction in question, or I think we're about to get to that here in a moment. They're going to pre-prep. We've got the Ash Blossom for that. Okay, here's normal summon Saji. So after they normal summon Saji and activate his chain link 1, we're going to chain Archmage Feinmel, which says during the main phase, if you have 3 or more different monster types on your field, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, also until the end of the turn, their attacks become halved. Now, in response, our opponent's going to chain Prayers, tributing Saji. Chainlink's going to resolve, Prayers is going to do both effects, add Murakumo, and then revive the Saji. Feinmel negates, which now negates the currently on-field Saji. There it is. I was looking for the little negate icon there. But then we go to Chain Link 1, and Saji effect resolves, adding the Ritual. So this is the basis of Enmu's, question the replay is, why was this the case, right? If Archmage Feinmel negated Saji, why did Saji resolve? Well, the idea lies in the fact that Archmage Feinmel says you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, and the idea that the Saji that is currently on the field did not activate its effect. That sounds so weird, since this is the same, copy of Saji. Yes, there's only one Saji in the deck, and this is that Saji. And that Saji's effect is Chainlink 1 of this Chainlink. However, because Saji left the field and then came back, the game state treats this as a quote-unquote different Saji. This Saji that is currently on the field did not activate the effect. The effect of Chainlink 1 is a quote-unquote different Saji, because again, it left the field and then came back. That's why this happened here. Very, very interesting ruling situation that you might not expect to see a lot, but that is why it happened. It sounds really confusing, I'm sure, but that is just the way that it works, right? when a monster leaves the field and then comes back, that is treated as a different card. We actually saw a more clear illustration of this in a relatively recent video I uploaded. It was in one of my Snake Eye Yummy videos, one of the tournament ones, where when my opponent targeted my field spell, I chained Yummy Surprise for the third effect in order to return it to my hand and then immediately activate it again. And even though I still had the minion on the field, it was not the same one that my opponent's Draco Tail Flame targeted. It was considered a new copy, therefore my minion wasn't negated. Now this scenario is obviously different. Find Metal doesn't target, it negates all cards face up on the field. But still, the Saji that was on the field is different from the Saji that was removed from the field that had activated its effect. Hopefully that made some amount of sense. And if anyone else ever wants to submit a replay with like a rulings question, I will always do my best to try to research that and see if I can give you a good answer there. But very, very interesting replay. Thank you very much for that, Enmu. Let's go ahead and move on to our last replay for today. And our final replay comes to us from Kinohara, who has quite a few different Radiant Typhoon variants, but I'm particularly interested in seeing Sky Striker with the addition of Radiant Typhoon Vision, because I haven't come across this yet on ladder, but it seems like a pretty obvious power boost for Sky Striker, right? The idea that not only we get to draw more cards by sending away any of our quick play spells, of which we have an abundance, but this also loads up our graveyard with more spell cards. Again, something that Sky Striker obviously wants to do. So we're going to be taking a look at this duel wherein we're up against Crystron with Centurion. Wow, that's a combination I have not seen, but very eager to see how this one plays out. So we're going to be going second here. We're on Sky Striker, so that definitely makes sense, right? Let's see what our hand looks like. We have Engage, we have Triple Tack, Super Poly, along with Widow Anchor and Linkage. Not much more you could ask for, honestly, from a Sky Striker opening hand. Doesn't have any hand traps, but you saw the deck list. We're not playing a lot of hand traps. We're mostly looking to use these quick play spell board breakers. Alright, now here they're going to lead with some pretty standard looking Crystron plays. Summoning out the Solfador, dumping Thistburn and Smyger. Of course, Tristaros on the field, even if we did have a hand trap, would threaten to go into an extra Synchro Summon, but... Okay, here's Ellie Skelly. Ella Skeletus is going to activate and add back the banished Thistburn. Now we can go Tristaros Graveyard Effect, banish to pop the Ella Skeletus, summoning out Solfador and Solfanir. Ella Skeletus F will revive Tristaros, and now they're going to Synchro for 7. It could be Dawn Dragster? Looks like it is. The spell trap negates, so that might be a little bit of an issue, but we do still have the Super Poly, of course, and, you know, with 5 spell cards, it's not that big of a deal to have a spell trap negate when you have so many ways to bait them out, like the Widow Anchor. Okay, they're going to make a rank 5 as well, Cyber Dragon Infinity? Well, Nova into Infinity, right? Of course, yeah. So a spell trap and an Omni negate to play through. But honestly, even Widow Anchor plus Linkage alone could already threaten to break that up. And they summoned Crystron Rion. Not familiar with this one. In your battle phase, target one of your banished non-tuners, special summon it, and then you can Synchro Summon. What do they have? They have Smyger, so they can make a 6? Okay, that's not that bad. Like, we're going to lead with Super Poly, discarding Widow Anchor, and that'll fuse away the Dawn Dragster plus Infinity, which is, yeah, not that big of a deal. Now we can go Battle Phase Garura, swing in, and they're going to go Crystron Cluster, using the trap card to try to pop. We're going to chain the Forbidden Droplet. This will negate their Rion, so now they can't quick Synchro during our turn. Now we don't have to worry about their Cluster anymore either, and that's been used up. We get a draw off the Garura for another Super Poly, and now we can go for the Engage. So they're going to use Ash Blossom there, but we're going to chain the Linkage, and that'll let us use the Engage again. I assume at some point we're going to go for Kagari if we don't do it straight away. Yep, here she is. And now we can use the Kagari in order to just add back the Engage. Not to mention our Triple Tack is live too. Like we are going to lead with the Triple Tack. We're going to choose to draw 2. I like drawing 2 here because really, if you think about it, yeah, what's our opponent going to have that's really going to stop us here? Alright, so we're going to go engage Chain Vision. Vision getting rid of our extra Super Poly. And then now we can add other linkage with the engage, as well as drawing into the Shark Cannon. We're going to go linkage, send away the Kagari for Ace 0. Ace 0 adding back the engage from the graveyard, which we're going to use yet again. This time we're choosing to add the Lemnis Gate. And drawing into another Forbidden Droplet. Gonna set 4 and then pass back over to our opponent. Of course, Sky Striker, a deck that plays the control game. We're gonna get to immediately call by our opponent's Sulfenir. They're gonna chain the cluster on our Ace 0, and of course we get to respond with the Ace 0. So now we can destroy their cluster, which means it won't resolve. As well as, of course, we get Ray and Rose. Callby is going to end up resolving against the Sulfenir, which will be negated and banished. They're going to activate Ghost Reaper, and we're chaining our Ray. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherry in a deck like Crystron, what was it, Centurion, is very surprising. They revealed Typhoon, and we're not on that. Now we can do a Droplet plus Shark Cannon here. Shark Cannon will banish that Tristaros, and then Droplet is going to get to negate the Rion. Okay, they're going to add a Sulfenir. Sulfadora effect gets to activate here, popping the Rion in order to summon. This will now activate. Alright, they summoned the level 4, but we're going to go Lemnis Gate for 3, looks like. I'll bounce their monsters, and looks like they don't have any more follow-up. They're going to throw out Perulia during the draw phase, so now our triple attacks aren't live. But of course, we still have the Sky Striker Amatsu in play. Meaning we can link it off for a Kagari, add back the engage, and we're just going to do it all over again. Like I mentioned, the Sky Striker is like the quintessential control deck. Although here we might even be able to OTK. I think that's actually what we're about to do here. Yep, Kagari for linkage for Ace 0. Now we can swing in for 3k with Ace 0. And activate the effect to summon Ray and Rose. And yeah, they're going to concede to that. Makes sense. Alright, good stuff. Thank you very much for the submission. Not just Kinohara and everyone who was featured, but everybody who submitted. There were a lot of people for this week. And obviously we only have time to get to so many people, but really want to thank everybody who submitted, because without submissions, we could not do the viewer special. And of course, there's always the next week and the week after, so on and so forth, to get your games in. So thank you to everybody for participating, as well as, those who were featured, of course. But also want to give a huge thanks to our Patreon subscribers and YouTube members. So let's move on now to our outro, and we give them an extra special thank you. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.